Is it Gino? Doom guy? I don't know. Here we go. Here's the trailer. Yo! No! It's Byleth? Yo! Fire Emblem Three Houses is my favorite game on
finally come
Dude.
to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharas upon our enemies.
Yo, he's gonna cut through and then he's gonna show up and smash. That's awesome. Yo. Oh my goodness. I didn't think this would happen. I thought this would be like the next character maybe, but
as you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void. In time, our hearts and minds will cease to be.
I remember I theorized a moveset on this guy a couple of months ago, so let's see what this is. I think like his moves should be like his moves upgrade when you use them more. I think that's what's gonna happen. Although it could involve the students. But
you must join Smash.
Yeah, you must join Smash.
Join Smash Brothers already. What in the world are you waiting for?
The double flash. Byleth joins Smash House.
So joining Smash consumes even the darkness itself.
Yo. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get the Three Houses soundtrack. You know, people are gonna be so pissed at another Fire Emblem character, but this is great. I love this. Oh, that looks cool.
So you return, and sooner than expected. I see. Too many swordsmen, are there?
They're aware of the
You wield
meme.
the sword as well? What will you do?
Oh, it's gonna show
So
other
that is
weapons?
how you plan to win the day? So be it. I reward
Oh
your
my
cleverness this time.
Yo, they got the, Morgana and Sophis is the same voice, so we got two Smash shows, the same voice actor. It's kinda neat. Ooh, it's the other,
How is this?
relics. Byleth recruits Byleth. How's this gonna work? Because those are the weapons that the other house leaders use.
Of anyone, you should be
Oh
able
no,
to handle the hero's
use them?
relics.
Oh
With
my
Eric
goodness,
Boss,
they got
strike
Edgedog.
with superior reach.
Okay, I think Smash Bros. Will be
Use
happy
Mir's
about this.
overwhelming power.
Because it's not just swords.
Unleash the blinding speed of Failnaught. Along with the sword of the creator, each weapon matches a direction.
Okay. I really want to get my hands on this just to see how it works. Oh my gosh, the
Your
blue
will and
lines.
mine be now as one.
But this one is Smash.
To you, both sides of time are revealed. Through Smash, show the world.
Okay, I don't really understand what the final Smash was, but dude, oh my goodness, this is so great. We're gonna get so many great songs. You know, so many people are pissed right now, but I love it. It's,
Yes, there you have it. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle. Fire Emblem Three Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll
I
still
didn't
be able
expect
to
this
play
at
as them
all.
in Super
I
Smash
thought it would be
Bros.
like too
Ultimate.
new for a character.
This release is planned for January 28th. You'll
January
have instant
28th.
access if you have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter
Okay.
Pass, and it will also be available for purchase individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't worry.
Knowledge Spider is nice, but not required.
First off, what
What
is
is
Fire
Fire
Emblem?
Emblem? It's a series that Sakurai loves.
It's really hard to pronounce in Japanese. The producer said it's okay if I just say Fire Emblem. But when writing it, if you don't write Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem police will come and get you, so please be careful. The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990.
Yeah, that's
You could
what
say
people
it was
don't
a
realize
pioneer
is
in
that
the
it's an
genre of
NES
tactical
series. A lot of
role-playing
people in the
games.
US
You
and
might
other
be wondering
regions
what makes it
just think
particularly
it's the
tactical.
Game Boy, so it's like
Well, it's tactical.
it's a
in that
really
it
old
simulates
franchise. It
combat.
makes sense why there's a lot of
You can think
characters.
of it
It's not
as
just
moving
like
pieces
all
in a
this
board game. Or
Pikmin
in other
getting
words,
like
a
7
game in which you
characters. It
advance
doesn't
units across a
make a
grid
whole lot
and
of
battle.
sense.
When we talk about tactical games of that era, there were lots of ones in which you command tanks, aircrafts, and so on. But Fire Emblem was unique because each unit was a specific character, sort of like in role-playing games.
Is this a new remix?
Plus, something made it stand out from
the
other
Fire Emblem
Nintendo
series?
products. Characters could permanently die. That's pretty direct language though, so perhaps we should just say they're sleeping with the fishes. But really, if a character fell in battle, you'd lose that unit. They'd be gone and you couldn't use them again. Recent entries in the series maintain this concept of permadeath to some degree in classic mode and what have you. But a lot of games now allow strategic withdrawals, so to speak. In the older games, your units would really be gone, never to be mentioned again. Scary. The game's stories are
You know,
told like
I
chronicles
think
of war,
male
with
Byleth
increasingly
actually looks
distinct characters
a lot
and
better than
engrossing
female
scenarios.
Usually
Several
the
characters
Avatar
also appear in the Super
Fire
Smash
Emblem
Bros.
characters,
series.
so Robin and
6 of the
Corrin,
7
they,
use a counterattack.
the female
It's
usually
their down
looks
special.
better, but I don't know.
There's
that
actually a
makes me-
reason for this. When I was considering how to incorporate Fire Emblem fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee, I thought it might be interesting to reflect the turn-based nature of the original game. First comes your opponent's turn. They attack and you counter. Next comes your turn.
I like hearing its design philosophy on the
And
Fire
now,
Emblem
Fire Emblem
characters.
Three Houses
Or the
is the
original ones.
17th game in the series.
17th game. I
People
only
who
played
aren't
the
Japanese in
2.
particular might be
I played
thinking,
Three Houses and
17
Awakening.
games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games. Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge.
Can you say it, challenge?
I'll give it a try.
暗黒竜と光の剣、外伝紋章の謎、聖戦の系譜、
Yeah,
爆穴の
I
穴
just like Sakurai bringing flexing his nerd knowledge over here.
荘園の奇跡、暁の女
That's
神、
really cool.
新暗黒竜新紋章、覚醒イフヒーローズエコーズ風化設立
There you go, 17.
That's a pose. That's a pose. You
変
can
な数え
feel
方
that
So you
Devil
saw
May Cry
how I was
3 from
counting in
that
a weird
pose.
way, right? I was counting in binary.
つまりこれが全部
This is 0.
Counting in binary.
Fold this here and you get 1, and then you get 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you
Yo,
get
that's an
16.
interesting way.
Add
You
1
should
and you
teach
get 17.
kids in America.
Awesome,
that.
isn't it? You can actually count up to 31 on one hand. And if you use both hands, you can count all the way up to 1023.
Yo, that's gonna be a meme right there.
If you've given up
Yeah, you
counting
can
the
count
knots
to
when it's a
31 on
Tommy
one
Mac,
hand.
you could always give it a go. What is Fire Emblem Three Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main character is called Byleth, and
Yeah,
the female
please
version is
put
called
Apex
Byleth,
of the
but in
World
English they share
in-
the same name, Byleth. Byleth becomes a professor who ends up leading one of 3 academic houses. Once you've chosen a house, you guide them through their school life, and, well, you end up fighting the other houses. After a certain incident, 5 years pass, and you meet up with your grown-up
Well,
students to battle
spoilers,
against the
but
other houses
okay.
in their regions.
I think they revealed
It's a
this
very
before.
sad game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to
It
kill
is
you.
a very sad game. It's a very good game.
To understand the concept of Fire Emblem Three Houses, I played an early version of the game before its release.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example,
Okay.
because I couldn't wait until launch to experience it, or we'd have never made it in time. For that title,
Okay.
I borrowed an early version of the game for 2 days, ran around all the areas, saw the ending, and realized for the first time,
For 2
I
days,
guess we
you saw
can't
the
really
ending?
have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter. I did the same this time, but with there being 3 houses and multiple
Oh,
endings,
no,
it was really hard to get a feel for it. And of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference.
Of course. But he does use the walkthroughs.
The
I
game
think
has
it's funny.
multiple routes, and the outcome of each is very different. Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story. I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope you'll understand.
Okay.
Before my demonstration, I should point out that when I did the Terry Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was recorded a month in advance. But this time, we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming 2 months in advance of this video's release.
Oh,
Right now,
really?
it's actually November.
That's crazy.
Therefore, some of what I'm about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version.
Yeah, probably.
As always, I'm using a special in-game camera and such for demonstration purposes. Here I go.
Alright, let's see what he can do.
So, this is our new
Odlin
fighter,
wins,
Byleth.
yes.
Sadly, they're
Oh
lacking
my
in
gosh.
mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but
Okay.
that's about all you can say for them. Throws are
No
not their strong
mobility?
point either. Their grab lacks range. But actually, you could
Their
say
grab,
that they're a
sweet.
distance demon.
Okay.
The hero's relic they use changes depending on the direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon
Interesting.
that appears in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. They look like bones, and there's a reason for that. First, let's talk
Hey,
about the
nice,
weapon
everyone's
Byleth uses
exploded.
for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator.
The Sword of the Creator.
The Sword of the Creator here is Byleth's default weapon. They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as down tilt attacks, where
Yo,
it takes
the
the form of a
animation's
whip.
so good. I love the sword behind the back like that.
They also use the sword for dash attacks and other moves. For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upward to launch enemies in the air. For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip sword overhead.
Okay.
The hit detection for this attack lasts for a relatively long time.
This seems like it'd be
The
good for
up special
juggling.
move is really something. The sword extends like this, allowing you to do
Oh,
things
it's
like
basically
this.
Joker's uppy.
It was
Oh,
pretty
no.
terrifying how I knocked him into the
It's
air
the
with
other
an
way. He
attack.
goes up
And
instead
in
of they come
addition,
down. That's interesting. It spikes?
you can do awful things.
That's
like this.
funny. It's gonna be so much salt on
That said, you'll launch opponents upward until their damage reaches a certain percentage.
Oh, down tilt's also Sword of the Creator. Okay.
Exceed that percentage,
It looks like
and you'll
a
need to be
Ike down
careful.
tilt.
You
or
may
like
find it
just
helpful
puts
to
them up.
mid-air dodge. I've already shown this, but you can also use it to latch onto edges. So
Okay.
that's the up special.
Yeah, so grapple.
Now, for the
Right.
sideways inputs. This
Yeah,
is
grapple.
Erdvar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology.
Okay.
First, we'll go through the
So
forward
that's-
and back air attacks. As you can see, they have a long reach. Like so.
Okay.
Marth's air attack keeps opponents in check too, right?
Yeah. That's got a lot of range because it's a spear.
If Byleth does the same thing, you'd win out, so you should be able to beat it. Next,
That's-
the side smash
that's pretty
attack.
cool.
This also has a long range. It'll connect even from here.
Is that like corns? I might need to do
Also,
it
if you
this
add an
strand.
upward tilt, it will be stronger.
It's stronger
And
when
if
you
you knock
press
an
up.
opponent down, the side attack won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them.
Yeah, it's like corn.
By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful. The shaft
Ah,
part is
that's-
weaker,
again with the tippers. Okay.
so it's not suited to close combat. It won't deal much damage,
Yeah,
and it won't
ooh,
launch
that's
opponents
really weak.
far. That's why, as a rule,
That probably
you want to
never
hit with the
kills.
blade part aimed upward,
Except at like 300 or something.
or downward in this case. Next, the side special move. Byleth will simply swing the
Upward
lance like
swing with
this,
extreme
but
range.
again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll
Oh,
still
that
hit.
works on platforms. Oh, that works on platforms from mid-stage. that's
Actually,
gonna
you
make
can do a
landing
smash attack
hell.
to charge forward a little, like this.
Okay, smash attacks give you more distance.
But as you'd expect, it can be easily shielded,
What about
so
in the
be
air?
careful.
Okay, easy to punish.
Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area. Returning
You
to
don't
the
move
side
a
air
lot.
attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality. So this complements it well, although you'll be vulnerable when you land.
Okay.
Now, for the downward inputs.
Plus landing between heaven and
For
earth.
these,
Yes.
Byleth will use an axe called Emir. It's named after a weapon that appears in Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack.
Wow.
It really is strong. You can try for a meteor effect with this attack.
Okay, this guy.
Next is the
Spike
down
attack?
smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe, back and forth.
That looks strong.
As you can see, it has a great deal of launch power.
Oh, I like the impact.
And for the
That's
down
nice.
special, Byleth channels all their energy into a
Yeah, the
devastating
down
strike.
special is basically the
It's a bold
crown
move,
neutral
similar to the
special.
Falcon Punch. But here's what makes it different.
Or like
When
hatchet
readying the
hammer,
move,
yeah.
there's a super armor effect,
Oh, it's got armor on it. Okay.
which allows you to withstand an attack.
How much
Just
armor
so you
does
know,
it have?
if you execute a Falcon Punch at about the same time, it plays out like this.
Wow,
It's a bit
that's
slower than the
lasts for a
Falcon
long
Punch,
time.
but due to the
Yo,
super armor
yo,
effect,
is that the
you have the
gatekeeper in the
advantage.
background? Oh my
Unless
goodness,
you
I'm so
progress.
happy now.
Another
Okay,
notable
you can
aspect
go.
is that it lets you pass through platforms. While you're charging up, you can breeze past
Oh,
platforms
that's so
like this to reach a
trolly.
lower area.
Oh my goodness, I can see myself.
It won't let
using
you
this
jump,
character a
but you
lot.
could use it
Kinda
as a surprise
piss a bunch
attack.
of people off.
Also, you can turn around during the move. The
Oh, you
swing
can
takes a
turn
while,
it. Yo.
so if an opponent runs behind you during the move, you can quickly change direction.
This is gonna be
Even though it can be hard to
infuriating
land a
by
hit
the
with this
end.
move, it can be really effective when used against a group of opponents.
Oh, it hits behind you as well. Okay.
Plus, even if you fail to land a direct
That's
hit,
a weak
any
hit.
opponents on the ground nearby will still be launched a little.
Oh, that's
It's as if the
annoying.
quaking
It's
of
like
the
K.
ground
Rool
launches
down
them.
smash.
By the way, earlier I talked a little bit about the other Fire Emblem characters' moves. I don't recommend using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters.
Easy counter.
It
Okay,
hits with
makes
that
sense.
much power in a single attack. Counters can actually multiply the power of blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you
Yeah,
hit by
he's
counter
talking
after
about
counter.
other fighters. They shook.
Next, we have the neutral moves. The bow you use is called Failnaught, which shares its name with the bow
Failnaught.
from the Knights of the Round Table. It only appears in a few neutral moves. You've got the neutral air attack. This attack is similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like him. It lets you spin the weapon around.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that looks nice for
It's also easy to
setting
create
up
certain
forward
combos
air,
with
maybe.
it. And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It seems pretty straightforward, right? But there are a few noteworthy aspects to this bow. First, the
Okay.
biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed.
Okay.
It's also very powerful.
So if you tap it, he has to.
That said,
he's
you can
like
still
going
cancel out of the
immediately.
stance using the shield button.
So it just goes straight.
You can also change direction while in the stance.
Or you can.
It works up until this
Like
point,
so?
but if you keep holding the button, you'll unleash a powerful arrow that looks like a beam of light.
Oh, that looks
You can perform this
nasty.
move by keeping the button held down. You charge up power
Oh,
like
I
so,
need to see how much
charge a
fuel
bit
comes
more,
out.
and then fire. But again,
That's
you'll need to take
29%.
care when using this move.
Really good.
For one, when you've powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield
Okay, you
button.
can't cancel.
In other words, you're committed to firing it. So you see, a situation like this is pretty terrible.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Once you've entered the stance, you won't be able to do anything. which means
Okay.
it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents. So you need to think carefully when using this
It
projectile
goes straight
weapon.
from across the entire
Byleth's final
stage,
smash is
so-
called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original
Halves
game,
that will
there's a
never
move called
cross.
Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version. As you can see, you team up with
Okay.
the mysterious Sothis and launch an attack together.
というものになっています。ソティスが誰であるのか何なのかというのは原作で確認してみていただければと思います。
Now, let's talk about the color variations. It's set up so that the default and
Okay.
odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female. However, the third,
Okay.
fourth, and fifth colors
Of
are,
course,
as
they're
you can
based on
see,
the houses.
reminiscent of the house leaders. Those of you who played the
yeah. They all
original
look
game
pretty
will of
good.
course understand what I'm referring
I
to.
actually like the one based on
The
Claw.
sixth color is based on Sothis, who you just saw
Ah.
earlier.
Okay.
And the seventh and eighth variations have a different hair color, which is based on something that occurs in the course of the original game's story. Didn't we see this
Okay.
variation in the final smash?
まあこれは原作でもということで。
Alright, again teasing the story. I like it. Garrick Mock
Next, I'll
Monastery.
introduce the stage.
Tearing through
For
heaven.
this one,
There
we
we go.
of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Garrick Mock Monastery. This is how Garrick Mock Monastery is laid out in the original game. From these, we chose to have it
Okay.
cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge, and cathedral all in one stage. It's the type
Okay,
of
that's pretty
stage
cool.
that rotates through different areas, such as these four. Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these four areas. The
We're gonna
first
see
area
all
is the marketplace.
house characters.
I think this is where a lot of people come to do their shopping.
Dimitri. Ingrid.
The guests that appear here are students of the Blue Lion's house, Dimitri, Dedu, and Ingrid. Not Dimitri, Dudu, or Ingrid. Their names are a bit difficult to say. They're largely from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
I
Since
guess
it's a
if you're
kingdom, that
Japanese,
means
these
they
are
have a
pretty
monarch.
strange names.
For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri is the future king. He had quite the difficult life and may or may not end up with just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one. There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of things, but here you can break them, you see.
Okay.
If you do break them,
It's a little strange.
the stage will expand to the left and right. I wonder where people will buy their supplies now. And in the background, you can see the gatekeeper.
Yeah, it's a
You
gatekeeper.
often pass through this area in
Green
Fire Emblem
stuff,
3
there's
houses,
nothing to
and you
report.
end up talking to them a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform. Just when it seems like you've come to a stop, you'll come crashing back down. We've broken through the ceiling and slammed into the building.
Dorothea, Petra, and Edelgard.
And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles.
They look
Take
kind of
note,
clay.
it's not spelled Edelgard,
I guess it's just
They're from the
word
Adressian
style of,
Empire.
Smash. But
and as such, they embrace their
strange.
military might. Edelgard is one of the characters who is central to the conflict. Depending on the path you take, she'll go through some terrible ordeals. You'll notice there are prominent chandeliers above the stage. It's possible to knock them
oh,
down.
you can stand on the chandeliers.
However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with other fighters, though. So, it's nice if you can work your way up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go, I made it. And you can knock it down. Also, you can break this table. Like so.
I guess it's like the
Just like the
signs of
sign that
Street
reads
Fighter
Footing Kazan in the
stage.
Suzaku Castle stage. It can break if you launch the opponent
Yeah,
into
literally,
it at
just
close
like that.
range. Next up, the bridge. The camera rotates 90 degrees, creating this long area. It's very wide indeed.
The golden deer. Hilda, Lorenz, and Claude. Nice.
It's similar
And
to
then
the Bridge of
probably have
Eldon stage.
Church characters in the cathedral.
The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong to the Leicester Alliance. Because it's an alliance of many noble families, you could say that they have a wide assortment of members. And Claude is the sharpest of the bunch. Incidentally, both Claude and Hilda are the names of characters that appear in Genealogy of the Holy War, the 4th title in the Fire Emblem series. I guess once you've reached the 17th
I actually
game
did
and are
not know
creating
that.
40 characters for each new entry, you're bound to get a bit of name overlap. The naming process must be tough.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight is busy training. As for the bridge's design, it's just a long pathway, plain and simple. You can expect
Okay, looks
plenty
like
of blows
bridge
to be
development.
exchanged at the edges of the screen. You could also say it's a place where the fail knot really shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the Golden Deer perfectly.
I guess that's true.
The last area is the cathedral, only with some
Yeah.
platforms you can pass
Rhea,
through.
Sedith, and
The guests
Flame
appearing in the
in
cathedral
background.
are Sedith, Flame, and Rhea. There's Sedith, who appears to have an extremely strong bond with his sister, Flame. She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities.
Well,
I
seeing
feel
as
that
taking
Flame
the
might be
spoiler
saying
for this
shush
shit,
at this point, so I'll leave it at that. This is a simple area of the stage. All it has are these platforms. Being the last area, it may be a place where some intense battles will be waged. It'll cycle through each location in about 2.5 minutes.
Okay, you got like 7 minutes or something.
Okay, today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5 players
Okay,
per
that's a
side.
cool idea.
Alright, here we go, Joker.
People should use Squad Strike more.
Joker! And
Yo,
Hero!
he's gonna try 5-on-1. Oh, that's kind of
We
funny.
really made a lot, huh? Banjo! By now, I think you know what I'm doing. But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the professor here. But as expected, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, so I'm using anything I can get my hands on. It's not going to land that easily. Uh-oh, this is bad. Bennigan's. I better keep my distance. I'll use this chance to attack. Got him. That's
Ooh,
scary. He's
yeah.
invincible for a moment here. Lots of explosives. Ouch.
Yeah, she,
Perfect shield with
Byleth
that,
looks
huh?
pretty terrible at close
Good
range
one.
combat. But looks
Like
really
this,
scary
like
at
this,
mid and
or
long
like
range.
so. No anti-air, huh? There, the soccer ball connected.
We still haven't seen the throws.
Good, there's Mom. You're in a good spot,
Did you
Mom.
just call Mother Brain Mom?
Ah, I shouldn't have taken that. Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not.
No, they have the
I
lyric
feel like the
version
enemy
of
might get this
Edgeguard.
smash ball.
That would
See?
just be
They
there
got
for
it.
now.
But I mustn't give up. I can't waste the chance.
Oh, he did a shield break. Yo.
There's another smash ball. Yes, got it. Now, what are you charging up for?
Yo, is he smack talking the AI in his own game?
There's still more.
There.
Whack. Go on, you can take the hammer.
That's a cool
But it's mine.
special, I really like.
Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state. I hit him. I was trying to fight using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
The render for Byleth looks
It can
so
be
good.
fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself. The end.
Song collection.
Now,
yes,
about the additional
yes,
music.
here we go. Apex of the
Since
world.
it's from the Fire Emblem series, we'll be adding each of the new tracks to all the Fire Emblem stages. There are already a lot of Fire Emblem tracks in the game. Our selection this time has been made taking those existing tracks into consideration. 11 songs are being added.
Blue Skies in a Battle. Apex of the
This
world.
includes an arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and English.
Pass on, never cross.
I hope you'll enjoy these as well.
It's a good selection.
We're also adding in a new spirit
I'm
board.
not upset with any of this.
It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters. Sothis is Legend class. Also, there's a new classic mode route, a Heroic Legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history.
I feel like
The final
I feel
battle
like
is against Master Hand
other
and Crazy
Fire
Hand,
Emblem characters
but
have
you'll
that
find that
thing.
something pretty amusing happens, so look forward to that.
What?
Now for the Mii Fighter costumes. Please take a look.
Oh, the new costumes probably have some good stuff. Skyward Sword? What? Assassin's Creed? You can play Altair from Assassin's Creed? What? That's so weird. Okay, or you can make a meme. Oh, Ubisoft? So it's probably gonna be a Rayman costume. Okay. Mega Man X. Yes. X. Mega Man Battle Network. I feel these are costumes in the previous game, but I could be wrong. Cuphead. Okay. Yo, that head is not shaped like a me head. Cuphead for the gunner. Oh, there's two amazing costumes for the gunner. With this and Sans. Oh man. That looks great. I'm definitely getting Altair and Cuphead. Oh, it comes with a song too. I thought we'd get some Fire Emblem costumes, but I guess not.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume. And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation. I hope you enjoy these as well. After purchasing a costume, I recommend using the sharing feature. If someone has created a Mii Fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it. And now, onto the amiibo.
Okay.
The color palette for Dark
Richter and
Samus
Dark
looks pretty good,
Samus,
doesn't
okay.
it? Dark Samus and Richter are planned for
It does,
release on
isn't it?
Friday,
It's
January
like a-
17th.
Well, there's a computer screen, but I guess it looks like a charcoal kind of color. It's nice.
はい、そして今回
And now, with the addition of Byleth, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete. The lineup was Joker, Hero, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Byleth.
That's really good. I'm pretty happy with all of these.
From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there? When we add a new fighter, we don't simply
Yeah, I
make
guess
their
so.
attacks or their movements a little different. Instead, we try to offer you a whole new style of play. As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but, well, have a look.
Wait, what? How many are in development? 5 more. Okay. 11? Or 6 more.
Looks
So
like
we're gonna
there'll be
have
one more
12
fighter than
total
last
DLC
time.
because we have Piranha Plant before Fighters Pass 1.
For this reason, we will be releasing the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out. And now that it's official, we intend to move
Okay.
ahead with development.
It will release by
Of course,
December
like last time,
24th.
the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters
Okay.
Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed. Like last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchase it. Furthermore, the new additions have already been
pre-purchase
decided.
it. I mean, it's Smash Bros.
Even if I receive many requests
Design
regarding
great
potential
characters.
candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them. But I
Okay.
still hope you'll look forward to it. We're also including a bonus with Fighters Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume. But
Oh,
this
like the
time,
Rex and
here's
Pyro
what we have.
costume. What's the costume or bonus?
It's a Mii Fighter costume for Mii Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda
That's pretty
Breath
cool.
of the Wild. This will not be for sale individually, so it can only be acquired as part of Fighters Pass Volume 2.
I wonder if I can make anything cool with that. And ironically, like making
It's been
Mii,
reported
so
that Super Smash
these
Bros.
costumes are
Ultimate
pretty
is the highest selling fighting game in the world. Personally, I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world. Seems like Street
Is
Fighter
it a
2 was
fighting
in the
game?
lead for a
Even
while,
he's
but now
doubtful.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales. However, I'm not sure if this is accurate. There were 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, or 6 to 7 if we really want to get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game.
Right.
It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it
Yeah,
comes to a
I guess
single
that's
piece
true.
of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is #1. Although,
Okay.
I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely.
Absolutely, that's it
I
right
feel
there.
a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters. The first Fighters Pass just wrapped up, but it was decided that there will be more DLC, which means no breaks for me. I plan to keep working hard, so I hope you can continue to support us.
Poor guy.
That's it. Thank you.
Wow. So it's Byleth and it's not releasing today. I did not expect either of those things, but you know, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I mean it. I really am. Should be a lot of fun. I'm expecting a lot of salt when this character comes out. Because, oh, it's another Fire Emblem character, or the moves are trolly, or like the moves look like they're derived from other things. But it looks fun enough. I will enjoy this character a lot, I can tell. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and see you guys next time.